To our distinguished guests, to our partners, members of our governing council, the university and the local community, including Chiltern District Council, to parents, carers, family members and friends of our graduating students, and most especially to our graduating students, welcome to the BUCS Awards Ceremonies 2012. My name is Ruth Farwell, and I'm the Vice-Chancellor of the university, and I'm joined on stage this morning by staff from the university and one of our visiting professors, Lynn Swarjat, Chief Nurse at the Buckinghamshire NHS Trust. Seated at the table furthest away from me is Professor David Sines, Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the university, and next to him is Dame Christine Beasley, the Chair of our Governing Council, and until she retired early this year, the Chief Nursing Officer for England. Closest to me is our special guest, Rosemary Cook, who was until recently the Director of the Queen's Nursing Institute and is now Chief Executive at the Institute of Physics and Engineering in Medicine. This ceremony focuses on the awards being made to the successful students completing courses in education, community health and social care. All of these former students are waiting patiently in the front stalls here at the Swan for their moment in the spotlight when they walk across the stage to shake hands with me and receive their awards. It's really good to see staff from the university receiving awards today, as well as partners, as well as colleagues from our partners in further education and also in the NHS and Buckinghamshire County Council. This isn't just any normal day, and that's why we're dressed in these rather strange clothes and doing rather strange things like processing. Processions, speeches and gowns are traditional on days like today. But it's not just about doing these things because that's what tradition dictates. It's also about marking the day as special and significant. After all, there aren't many opportunities when you, the graduating students, can bask in the limelight and congratulate yourselves on what you've achieved. We've done some research on what are the qualities that people, students, staff, and those from outside the university who work with us or who are our neighbours in the local community, the qualities that they ascribe to us. Formal and traditional, we most definitely are not in their view. However, the words that they do use to describe us are friendly, supportive, relaxed and helpful. I hope those words characterise both your time studying with us and also your day to day, along with one or two others I suspect as well, pride perhaps and also a sense of achievement. You've successfully negotiated all of the challenges that your course has flung at you during your time as a student at BUCS. But also you've probably had your lives transformed in many ways during your time here. In the days, months and years ahead, I'm sure you'll recall just what impact your course has had in many ways that you may never have imagined. There are challenging times ahead, I'm sure for you, but I hope that as BUCS graduates, you will take these in your stride. There are unprecedented changes in the public sector, local authorities and the NHS, as well as in further and higher education. Many of you receiving awards today work or aspire to work and progress in these areas of employment, and that applies to us at the university too. The way all of these areas are funded and the expectations about what we deliver are shifted radically. We've all heard repeatedly about efficiencies and economies of scale in publicly funded areas, but that's only part of the story. The other part of the story is growing the economy. Just a few months ago, a skills study was commissioned of the different types of employers in Buckinghamshire to get information on the current skills shortages and also the kinds of people that they would need to employ now and in the future to contribute to economic growth. The report presented a very positive picture of employment prospects for people in Buckinghamshire. One of the key messages is to capitalise on skills and professionalisation. Developing our skills base has a critical role to play. Employers are reporting that they are demanding a better and more highly skilled workforce, and this is particularly true of smaller employers who want a more versatile workforce. So I think there are reasons to be cheerful, both for you personally and also more widely in terms of society. In personal terms, your award has provided you with the right kind of skills and the professionalism needed to enable you to grow personally and develop professionally. But it's more than that. Your increased professionalism can also impact more widely on society and in turn help others to become economically and socially active. We are all in professions which can change lives for the better: health and social care, education, and I guess that's why many of us have chosen to contribute to these professions. Whatever you go on to do, I hope that you think your time at Bucks was extremely important in shaping your life positively, and that you will feel proud of being a Bucks graduate. We are certainly proud of you, and all of us at Bucks wish you every success and happiness in your life and career. The best degree ceremonies are a careful blend. On the one hand, they've an element of formality, as I've said earlier. On the other, it's about having a good time and celebrating. So 2 final messages from me. The first to graduating students: it's your day, make the most of it. The second is to the others in the audience. Throughout the ceremony, let's go for it and wholeheartedly demonstrate our appreciation of the graduating students and their achievements. We will now start the presentation of the awards.
Vice-Chancellor, we present to you the persons here today and those graduating in absentia to be admitted to the awards of Master of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts and Foundation degree.
By virtue of my authority as Vice-Chancellor and on behalf of Senate, I admit them to their degrees.
We also present to you those receiving the awards of Diploma of Higher Education. Postgraduate Diploma in Community Healthcare Nursing, Annette Doherty. Master of Arts in Education, Monique Chituku. Caroline Frederick. Anne Jowino. Veronica McQuarrie. Tracy O'Keefe. Vimala Shania. Postgraduate Diploma in Education, Moya Piper. Postgraduate Diploma in Specialist Community Public Health Nursing with Specialist Practice, Susanna King. Beatrice Matiko. Christine Messer. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Community Healthcare Nursing with Specialist Practice, Alzabetta Bray. Angel Naduku. Andrea Neal. Foundation degree in Community Development, Shirley Barrett. Boudou Blay. Jane Cardona. Anne-Marie Nelson. Foundation degree in early years, Sharon Berry. Karen Blower. Debbie Chilcott. Rebecca Cuff-Newland. Tracy Jane Davis. Claire Dixon. Bernadette Dunn. Catherine Dyde. Katie Eason. Florence Eade. Jenny Fantham. Claire Farrell. Stacey Fennell. Helen Fincher. Diana Glasgow. Manjit Golhar. Jodie Griffiths. Penny Harris. Sharon John. Anna Cool. Bernadette Kelly. Rebecca Malpass Neeson. Rosalie Mann. Sarah Massini. Rachel McSkimming. Kelly Mulder. Alexandra Oakley. Tara Porter. Cheryl Reed. Laura Smith. Louisa Soden. Gita Sond. Janani Thavendra Raja. Jacqueline Tobin. Rebecca Try. Chanel Weaver. Louise Welsford. Marion Welsh. Michelle Williams. Kim Woodman. Tanya Woodward. Diploma to teach in the lifelong learning sector, Stephanie Holland. Foundation degree, Health and Social Care, Damilola Akinwale Aluwasusi. Zanab Khan. Nazrin Rahman. Sonia Singh. Ayakummi Suleiman. Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Practice Development, Early Years, Jennifer Bargrove. Sarah Bromfield. Sarah Bullimore. Stella Ann Birch. Deborah Conn. Maria Creeby. Ruth Doyle. Charlene Edwards. Karen Gill. Karen Henry. Lisa Robinson. Linda Sheldon. Nicola Strachan. Sharon Tapping. Claire Trimnell. Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Practice Development, Mental Health, Tafara Shivavaya. Ayodele Edmond. Jane Kiguru. Bella King. Charmaine Langton. Tariro Makasi. Ophelia Mensah. Godfred Opoku. Bachelor of Arts in Practice Development, Mental Health. Olumilekun Idowu. Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Practice Development, Primary Education, Erika Baker. Claire Barrett. Khadija Bubka. Kashifa Chowdhury. Lynn Pierce. Kay Stone. Sarah Weston. Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Practice Development, Working with Children and Young People, Jackie Brown. Deborah Harding. Natalie Judson. Natalie O'Donovan. Foundation degree in primary education, Emma Davis. Susan Hearn. Timothy Houghton. Rebecca Hughes. Dawn Kingman. Isla Martin. Amanda McCardle. Eva Panchen. Nia Rose. Bachelor of Arts in Professional Practice, Rosie Johnson. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Specialist Community Public Health Nursing, Anne Allman. Bachelor of Science with Honours in Specialist Community Public Health Nursing with Specialist Practice, Caroline Cork. Rachel Doe. Gillian Doyle. Susan Ellis. Martina Lognan. Joanne Parks. Judy Pritchard. Amanda Whitelock. Louise Evenek. Foundation degree working with children and young people, Hayley Abraham. Jessica Baker. Christine Cook. Sharon Cottle. Susan Hine. Alison Morris. We now present to you students who are receiving awards from various programs in this ceremony. Foundation degree in early years, Fatima Muhammad. Foundation degree in community development, Therese Mushigo. Foundation degree in health and social care, Rumbiozai Linda Chikomo. Foundation degree in early years, Sarah Hockley. MA in Education, Previn Sukan. Sue West, the Dean of Students, Programmes and Qualities, will now introduce the special awards.
It is my privilege to be able to make awards to academic members of staff who students feel have inspired them during their time here at Bucks New University. These awards are based solely on the testimonials provided by graduating students sitting here today. Thank you. I would like to thank all of you who submitted your nominations. Although there are many who are worthy of this award, the following colleagues will receive the Most Inspiring Tutor Award today. In Applied Education, Carol Rogers. Community and Public Health, Kate Potter. Agnes Fanning will now introduce the Honorary Award.
Rosemary Cook qualified as a nurse in 1980. After working in hospitals in Bradford and Stafford, she moved into primary care with a post as a practice nurse in Stone. Later, Rosemary worked as a primary care manager for 2 health authorities in North Staffordshire and in Manchester, supporting GP practices and primary health care teams. Rosemary was a nursing officer at the Department of Health for 4 years, from 1999 to 2003, working on primary care, research and development, and non-medical prescribing policies. After this, Rosemary led the Working Time Directive programme for the NHS Modernisation Agency, working with hospital and community teams to modernise service delivery and enable reductions in junior doctors' hours. Rosemary joined the Queen's Nursing Institute as director in 2005. The charity began with a grant from Queen Victoria and now works to support community nurses and to influence national policy affecting nurses in primary care. We are proud to be working with the Queen's Nursing Institute, the Shaftesbury Partnership and Johnson & Johnson on the Nurse First programme, which enables nurses and allied health professionals to develop innovative solutions to clinical challenges. During her time at the Queen's Nursing Institute, Rosemary has raised the profile of nurses working in the community and has been involved in a number of projects directed at the homeless population across the country. An excellent initiative was the Right Nurse, Right Skills public campaign. The aim was to ensure that every patient received care from a suitably skilled nurse when they needed it. As well as influencing community nursing directly, the campaign brought the Queen's Nursing Institute hundreds of new general public supporters. Rosemary also reintroduced the title of the Queen's Nurse. There are now nearly 300 nurses across the country, all of whom have demonstrated their commitment to patient-centred values and continually improving practice in order to receive the title of Queen's Nurse. Rosemary has a master's degree in public sector management and a postgraduate diploma in applied social research. She is the author of numerous journal articles and several books, including Awareness and Influence in Health and Social Care, How You Can Really Make a Difference. Rosemary was awarded a CBE for services to nursing and healthcare in the Queen's Birthday Honours in 2008. She holds an honorary doctorate from Manchester Metropolitan University and was a visiting professor of enterprise at Northumbria University from 2008 to 2011. She is a member of the steering group of the Royal College of Nursing's History of Nursing Society and the author of The Nightingale Shaw Murder, the true story of the unsolved murder of Florence Nightingale's goddaughter. Rosemary was director of the Queen's Nursing Institute for more than 7 years. She has recently taken up a new role as chief executive at the Institute of Physics and Engineering in Medicine. Rosemary has always been interested in the role of technology and science in healthcare, so I'm sure that this new role will be challenging and exciting. We are all waiting to see how Rosemary will raise the profile of this organisation as she has done so splendidly for the Queen's Nursing Institute. But for now, it is my great pleasure to welcome Rosemary to this ceremony. We are delighted that she has accepted our invitation to become an honorary professor and that she will be our guest speaker. Vice-Chancellor, I present to you Rosemary Cook, who is to receive an honorary professorship of the university.
On behalf of the Senate and the Council of the University, it gives me great pleasure to confer an honorary professorship of the University on Rosemary Cook. Congratulations to Rosemary. Thanks so much for accepting. We're absolutely delighted.
This concludes the presentation of awards. I now welcome Rosemary, who is our guest speaker.
Vice-Chancellor, firstly, can I thank you and the Senate of this university for the award of honorary professorship. It's a great privilege to receive this today. I believe that education is the cornerstone of every profession and is the first requirement to safeguard patients. So I am accepting this award in recognition of the benefits that I have had of professional education in my career and to lend my small support to this university in its educational work. To those of you graduating from the university today, from whichever programme of study, many congratulations. I imagine there were moments during your course when you felt that it was harder work than you thought it would be, that you wished you'd never started the course at all, and that the assignment load was actually scientifically impossible for one human being to deliver. That is all, as you've probably worked out, perfectly normal, as is, I hope, the enormous amount of pride and relief and inspiration that I hope you feel right now with your degrees in your hands. You can thank your family and friends and supporters later for putting up with you throughout your course. As Agnes said earlier, I have only recently left the Queen's Nursing Institute after more than 7 years as its director. And this year, the QNI is celebrating 125 years since its foundation. So this is a good time to look back with pride at the origins of community and public health nursing and the education and practice development and learning activities that made those specialisms grow. There is so much that is ephemeral and changeable in today's healthcare world, but community healthcare nursing and public health nursing have a long, significant and unbroken history that outlasts mere institutions and, of course, predates the NHS. We should all lay claim to that great history with pride. I'm sure many of you know about William Rathbone, who invented district nursing 150 years ago and a little more. He was a great advocate of specific training and education to work with people at home and in the community, the sort of education that we've been celebrating today in this ceremony. What is less well known is that before he built a training school in Liverpool with his own money for district nurses, he had already attempted to improve the quality of nursing care in the hospitals. He wrote in his own history of district nursing that it was not quite a new idea to educate nurses, for the authorities of the Royal Infirmary in Liverpool had already realised the want of such a school. As a step towards the improvement of the nursing standard, the matron of that institution, he wrote, had been empowered to pay a salary of £16 to any nurse who deserved it. And yet no more than 4 nurses could be found worthy to receive it. Any ordinary nurse of that time, he said, if paid more than the usual salary of £10, would most probably have incurred dismissal for drunkenness after the first quarter day. He knew his nurses. An interesting choice of approaches to improving the quality of care: train nurses more or pay them more, a debate that still continues today in some places. But William Rathbone didn't give up on nurses in spite of his poor opinion of some of them, and the rest, as they say, is history. In fact, he described it as the story of a successful experiment. Specialist education to work in the community became an organised system subject to standards and monitoring. It was inclusive, really important to remember today that community nursing had its origins in both practice and education, in mental health and physical health, in clinical work and in public health. It was set up as a system and replicated across the UK and across the world. Different organisations have provided that education over the years to greater and fewer numbers of nurses in a variety of ways. But the most important principle, that nursing outside of hospitals is a special, expert, and privileged thing to do, survived and was embedded. It remains a precious foundation stone for our part of the profession, and one that we should protect and defend at all costs. The QNI, which Rathbone went on to found, went on training community nurses until the 1960s, when education was handed on to the universities. The Institute produced generations of Queen's nurses, as they were called, some of whom are still working today in their 70s and 80s. They're a peculiarly robust and strong-minded breed, with modern concepts such as patient-centeredness and advocacy built in to their mindset. And I discovered a wonderful illustration of this only very recently. And we've used it this year, which is, as I said, the anniversary of the QNI, but also, of course, the Jubilee year for the Queen, who is the patron of the Queen's Nursing Institute. I found this story in the QNI archives. A Queen's nurse called Evelyn T., who was working in the very early 1950s, found out that the then Princess Elizabeth was due to pass through her town of Worcester en route to a royal engagement. Nurse T took it upon herself to write to Princess Elizabeth at Buckingham Palace. She said, "In connection with one of our patients who lives at 31 Hallow Road, which I understand is on the route you are taking. If we're not presuming too much on your Royal Highness, may I suggest that if it could possibly be arranged for your chauffeur to slacken his pace while passing the above house, you will be doing a great honour and service to one of your subjects who is suffering from a great and incurable disability." Goodness knows what Nurse T's manager made of this piece of patient advocacy. A week later, though, Nurse T received a polite reply from a lady-in-waiting saying, "Her Royal Highness bids me say, if it is at all possible, that it will be arranged that her car drives slowly past 31 Hallow Road. The Princess thought it so kind of you to write." The QNI has the original of that letter in its archives, and written in the corner, in Nurse T's handwriting, are the words, "She did go slowly and waved to our patient and husband." A successful venture, then, from a typically practical and enterprising Queen's nurse, what you might call one of the old school. But what about today's nurses? There is a lot of talk that nursing as a profession is in crisis. It isn't so special anymore. Somehow the old days were better. I don't believe any of those things. Nurses today have greater opportunities than ever before. They can diagnose and prescribe, treat patients from start to finish, lead on public health and service development, head up research, and build new educational courses. Just as importantly, they can still be the ones next to the patient when they are frightened or anxious or excited or in extremis of birth or death or crisis. Actually, there has never been a more exciting time to be a nurse, and it has never been more important for us to say so loud and clear. Recently, I've been involved in the fantastic new course that has been mentioned called Nurse First, developed between this university, the QNI and Shaftesbury Partnership. It's a year-long programme for nurses and other health professionals, and it's focused on 4 key elements that are absolutely essential for all of today's health professionals. We remember them by the acronym LIFE: leadership, innovation, financial literacy, and enterprise. Whether or not you do that course, I recommend those 4 things to you as you take your careers forward from this point. It's never too early to practice leadership skills with those around you through example and nurturing and encouraging others. Innovation should be part of everyday life in healthcare, not something we leave to outsiders or to the commercial sector. And financial literacy is important. You don't need to know much to make a useful contribution, but such knowledge is very real power. It gets you listened to. And enterprise. Enterprise can be everything from spotting the small local change that makes patients more comfortable to coming up with a bigger idea that could put thousands of pounds to better use. We should not be afraid to be entrepreneurs, however difficult it feels to put your head above the parapet of usual practice. To quote Florence Nightingale, it is said that pioneers are always the best until they become the fashion. Then let each nurse be the pioneer and no one of them the fashion. You heard from Agnes of some of the strange and varied roles that I've had in my career. Looking back at those the 4 life elements were key to all of them. So from those experiences, there are 3 pieces of advice that I would like to leave you with today. Firstly, be confident in your profession and in your abilities. Just go for it. You never know how far you can reach. Secondly, be brave. Take the different opportunity, the one that isn't obvious, the one that scares you to contemplate. It will probably turn out to be the best thing you ever did. And finally, be generous. Offer the helping hand, share your information, and value every contact you make. It is all of our job to hand on the best in nursing and in healthcare to our students, our colleagues, and the next generation. Today's patients and tomorrow's nurses are all in our hands. That is both the privilege and the responsibility of our fantastic profession. I wish you all the very best in your careers, and thank you for your attention.
Dame Christine, Chair of Council, Vice-Chancellor, Professor Cook, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my privilege to move a vote of thanks at this particular time in today's ceremony. I make no apology in starting by sharing an adage that I was able to share yesterday evening at a public event shared by this university with our partner trust here. And that adage was this, that a good legacy combines both wisdom with history and the combination of how that innovates forward. You've done that today, Rosemary, most eloquently as always, by looking back at a legacy, but more importantly, integrating that legacy with the wisdom of moving forward. You also mentioned leadership, which today, of course, is a critical part of the X factor that you as today's graduates demonstrate. One of my colleagues yesterday evening, our chief executive of our trust, Anne Eden, said in response to a question, what makes a leader? Is it there? Is it born within you? Is it inherent? Her answer was an interesting one. It can be developed, but there's always the X factor that can be identified within the individuals. You've shown that X factor as students as well by going through this first major hurdle on your career trajectory, by giving time with your families, colleagues, and yourselves, of course, to study in partnership with us. Rosemary has been the epitome of leadership. She's demonstrated that, and we're most honoured, Rosemary, that you've accepted the honorary professorship with us today, and for continuing the legacy of partnership with us with the Nurse First programme, which again brings together the importance of innovation, enterprise, but also application to making a difference to the world in which we share, live and work. I'd like just now to ask our students to stand, if you would. So today you transfer through transition from student to graduates, and now just turn and face those who support your families, please, for a moment. A bit of fun time now, but I'd like you to give away a bit more than that. Take those hats off and wave them, and 3 cheers, please, for your families. Hooray! Okay, more of that later. Now, you might just wish to share exactly the same with the folks here who've been supporting you during your programme. So again, a big cheer, please. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Please sit down. Thank you. It's now my pleasure and privilege to invite you, following the closure of today's ceremony, to refreshments in the pavilion in the main university campus. And as such, I declare the degree congregation and awards ceremony closed.